Hey all, today I want to talk about why it is that we consider a person who's able to successfully restrict food or deny themselves food over the long term, aka a successful dieter, somebody who succeeds at weight loss. Why do we consider that such a positive thing? And why is that something that we automatically associate with being inspirational and good and like really strong willpower and discipline? We just have such positive associations with somebody who's able to deny themselves food, keep themselves from eating. So I want to explore that a little bit today. And of course, there's one obvious answer is fat phobia, right? So thin supremacy and healthism and fat phobia and weight stigma are all at the root of a lot of this stuff, which basically says in short that fatness is bad and thinness is good. Therefore, of course, anybody who can lose weight is good and anybody who's gaining weight is bad. But I talk about that all the time in a lot of other places. So today I want to talk about something different and explore it from a totally different angle. And that angle is something that comes up with my clients all the time, which is the fact that this is about neediness. And specifically when it comes to overcoming the need for food, we're really talking about denying one's innate neediness, the fact that we have needs, we have strong desires, we have strong urges, and learning to successfully deny oneself food in the way of dieting or losing weight is often a way of proving to yourself and to everybody else that you're not needy, that you don't need anything, or that you are able to successfully control your human needs. So in a lot of ways, the ability to transcend neediness can be seen in someone who is successfully dieting. And we are all, for a variety of reasons, taught that that is a very good thing, transcending our human neediness. So we're gonna talk about why that is a little bit. But I just wanna put it to you in the way of how this is overcoming our human nature, or at least it is an attempt to overcome our human nature, because having human needs to stay alive is one of the fundamental ways that we're wired, right? We need food. So overcoming the need for food is one way in which we sort of transcend or try to transcend the fact that we are humans with needs. So yeah, why is it so positive for us to control our food intake? One of the reasons is that our culture was based on religious stories and values of purity and denial and punishment, and the whole thing about being born a sinner, and that all of our human needs and neediness basically take us down the path of sin, and that controlling them takes us down the path of redemption. So that's a big player in the story of what it means to be a human with needs and desires. And to be a good person means you take all those and you squish them down and you keep yourself from actually needing them at all. And also, exercising control and willpower over food can sometimes be seen as an extension of the purity culture in that sort of religious value system, because it's a lot of the kind of same thing of squishing down the desire for sex, squishing down the desire for food. It's squishing down your appetite. It's squishing down your voraciousness. It's getting rid of all of those using willpower and discipline. And also, denying yourself food kills libido for a lot of people. So it's also literally an extension of that same theory, because you won't want sex when you're hungry all the time. So it is another way of sort of exercising willpower over our bodily needs, trying to be very good in that sort of purity culture way, and avoiding being very bad, meaning defined as somebody who gives in to their bodily urges, needs, and desires. Also, women who are emotionally needy have historically been seen as crazy, bad, totally undesirable, and even not feminine. And we learn that a woman who wants or needs too much attention, too much love, too much care, too much sex, definitely, too much intimacy or commitment from a partner, that these are things that make people stop loving her. We learn that that is dangerous and bad. We learn that that kind of woman will be led into rejection and abandonment, and that the best thing she can do if she wants to stay in relationship with people is not be needy. Being called needy is one of the worst insults to a woman. And of course, according to our binary gender roles and expectations in our culture, we also expect women to be so needless because they are taking care of everybody else's needs first. A good woman, according to the gender binary roles and expectations, is a woman who takes care of everybody, who's nurturing, who's caring, who's always putting herself last and other people first, which means for her to have needs and have other people show up and take care of those needs for her, now she's being selfish, right? Now she's being greedy. Now she's taking over a space which isn't hers. It's not rightfully hers, right? Her place, her worth, her value comes from putting other people's needs first and hers last. So again, being considered needy is the worst thing a woman can be. Also, the ultimate insult to a woman is in part because we just, from childhood onward, learn that our needs are a burden on other people, that it makes people not like us, that it makes people want to leave us, that it annoys people and makes them mad at us, that it upsets people. So when we feel needy and we expect or want care from somebody else, from childhood onward, a lot of us, especially girls, but really a lot of children, recognize early that that means they are burdening the people around them and they are jeopardizing the safety of those relationships. So it's no wonder we would go way out of our way to not want to be needy. We would recognize, shit, being needy is really bad, and I need to do everything in my power to keep that from happening. And as you can imagine, that's reinforced in relationships for a lifetime, right? Plenty of partnerships look this way too. You come to someone, you say, I'm feeling really sad and I want reassurance, and they roll their eyes and they dismiss you, or they kind of go like, ugh, you're being so clingy right now. Or, you know, you say, I want to know where this relationship is going. Here's how I feel. How do you feel? And they're like, I don't know. You know, I need space, that kind of thing. All comes down to emotional neediness. And we're supposed to understand it as an insult to have needs. It is an insult to be needy or clingy. All right, so many of us learn this lesson. It's no wonder, but the best way we learn to get our needs met is to have none at all. It's no wonder we want to control our urges and needs and squish them down as far as they will go and completely rid ourselves of our neediness, because we learn that the only way to get satisfaction and fulfillment and happiness in a relationship with somebody else is to not have any needs at all, so that we don't come off as needy and they can't let us down. So there's a self-protective mechanism built into that. There's also a protection of the other people and a protection of that relationship safety built into that. So you can kind of think of it like, by denying oneself food, they are denying their self neediness, right? They are denying their human neediness. And it is all in an impulse to say, okay, am I okay now? If I don't want anything from you, will you still love me? And this can be to a person, and this can be just to the universe, you know? Hey, universe, I have almost no needs now. Can you meet them, please? Am I safe? Have I become unobtrusive enough at this point for you to meet my needs? We should probably mention here that this is plan B, though. This is not how we're wired. This is not what we really want. This is what happens after we learn this lesson, that our needs are unacceptable and dangerous. So plan A is an abundance of care and connection, and getting our needs for love and community and acceptance and purpose and belonging and safety. We get all those needs met in plan A. But at some point, often in childhood, we learn that that's impossible. And so we go to plan B. Plan B is, I will have as few needs as possible, and then maybe someone will be able to meet them. So this is kind of akin to saying, by wanting less care, then maybe someone's shitty care will feel like enough. It is a desire to feel satisfied, fulfilled, and safe. So this idea that squishing down our need for food can squish down our need for anything makes a lot of sense, in part because when you're hungry, you literally don't need a lot of other stuff. You're focused on survival. So it's hard to be like, I want a strong community of nourishing friendships, and I want a partner with lots of sex and intimacy, when you're starving, because all you're focused on is, I need food. So the desire to squish all this down goes hand in hand. The desire to forego all your neediness and human needs and urges and desires is really, really linked to squishing down the urge to eat delicious food and enough food and to fill your body and feel satiated. And the idea that we can get rid of our needs from food to love and belonging and connection completely misunderstands our physiology. It misunderstands the universe. It misunderstands connection with other people. It assumes that the reason we didn't get our needs met in the first place was because we were too needy or too greedy, or that we were being selfish, or that there was something wrong with us. But actually, just being a human is inherently needy. We are wired with needs. We are deeply needy and desirous. And all of those needs make us interesting and vulnerable and soulful. And it's a really positive thing that we have these needs. So it's not shameful, it's beautiful. And learning to stop restricting food can be incredibly difficult, because it means you have to stop restricting your neediness for a lot of people. These things go hand in hand in the recovery phase. So letting yourself need and want food is one powerful way to send the message to yourself to reclaim the fact that you're a human person with lots of desire and lots of need, and that that's a good thing. And also on the other side of recovery, you'll find it easier to access your other needs because you won't be in that survival mode of just trying to, obsessing over food and trying to stay alive. When you finally give yourself permission to eat and stop restricting and denying food, stop seeing that as a more positive and good thing, you will find that there's so much else that you want and need. It opens the floodgates to being a needy and desirous person, which again, if you've been taught that the only way that you can stay safe in relationship is to have no needs at all, can feel really, really scary and dangerous, but is a super important part of the recovery process and also just a really beautiful thing about being human. So that's it on this topic. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want to share in the comments, ask any questions, as always, that's it.